Hello everyone, welcome to the first video in this series on me trying to become a successful prop firm trader. I've made a lot of videos on this channel before, meditations and psychology, so if you're watching this going, what is this? Please stick around because hopefully this will be really interesting to see. I want to share everything, the good trades, the bad trades, and hopefully how I progress. But if not, you can see someone flop, which will be maybe just as funny. I'm going to start off by going through the accounts I have right now, and then I'm going to do a quick recap on the trades I took today, and I'm going to try to upload these videos pretty much in days that I trade. So I'm going to look up here. I've used my face just to cover the accounts, but you can see here I've got four wealth chart PAs through Apex. Three of them are a little bit in the green and one of them is red. This last account I'm really not happy with how I traded, but that's fine. My goal here, these are all 25k accounts. My goal essentially is to reach payouts with one or two of them and then begin to copy trades once I've done that. So this is where I'm currently starting. Obviously, I'm starting at zero, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, this is where we're at. So I'm going to bring over the video of the trades I took today and then move me down here. So this was the first trade I took on, and I trade MNQ. So essentially here, my approach is I try to find an area of the market where I want to become a buyer or a seller. So here I had an area of support. I'll just come back a little bit so we can see it. Got this area of support that we're coming into, and then once we've got that support, I look for pretty much a trap to the downside to see other traders come in and go short. And then once I see them go short, I then want to get in long if that trade then fails. So you can see here, putting in my order for the break of this downtrend. And for targets, I just look for a previous high that gives at least 1R and just go for that. And I can talk a little bit more one day about my strategy in a bit more depth, but this is a pretty good example. I'm just going to jump forward a little bit so when we get in the position. So price came up, it filled me, and the whole point of me trading this way is I try to get in where I'm expecting people who are short to start getting stopped out. And I figured that the break of this trend would be there. And if we push back over this sort of 25 295 area, anybody who took this final flag short, they're in pretty big trouble. So we get this push, and I believe this one very quickly actually runs to my target. Might try and jump forward a tiny bit. We can speed up a little bit. We'll go to 1.5 speed. So yeah, we got that push, and this is where I began moving my stop, but we ended up just running pretty much straight to that level and hitting my target. So that was a really nice trade, nice and easy. I'll get up the chart so you can see the full thing also. Okay, and so here is the chart, and for reference, it's Friday the 10th of April. You can see the flag here came into the support area, broke down, pushed higher. Could have held this for a lot longer. My strategy is purely to target this first move here, but we did end up coming all the way into the highs. So it was a really nice trade. Unfortunately, the others were not quite so good. I'm going to get them up now. So this is essentially where I make a lot of my mistakes right now. I decided here that I had a good enough reason to be a seller and that I would, as a result, look for a short. I did take this one on my on that the account that I said wasn't quite so like my last account, which is always a bit of a red flag. So if I take a trade on that, normally it means I know that it's not the best trade in the world. But I get in, And this one, I'm just gonna kind of zoom through it here. Essentially, I decided to take it off for a very small loss. It really wasn't worth it. And the problem is, I then got I suckered myself into thinking this was an area where I could become a seller. And this then, I actually took on my main account as a short in here. And the thought process was that we've had this attempted breakout. I sized down a little bit, went to $130 max risk rather than my normal 200. It was the sort of trade, the moment I got in, I realized I probably forced this, and I probably should have just taken it off straight away, but I thought I'd give it a chance because I did like the breakout and or the attempted breakout. And sometimes I find myself overthinking in these situations and then taking trades off that end up working, which I didn't want to do. So in this instance, I decided to just leave it. Unfortunately, this comes up and stops me out. And I was a little bit annoyed myself for taking this trade because it definitely wasn't a legitimate trade. I'll jump forward to we get stopped out. And then annoyingly, I did the same again, and I got in now a much better area, but before I've had a trap. And this is probably the biggest mistake that I make, where we're in a good area to be a seller. We have had a push higher, but we haven't properly trapped people, and therefore we're kind of hoping sellers come in rather than expecting to see people who are long get out. So you can see I'm short up here, and again I'm going to jump forward through this one a little bit. End up getting stopped out. I was going to try and take this one off a break even, but just didn't quite do that. Get stopped out, and ironically enough, this is now a really clean setup for me. So I'll let this one play out a bit. Essentially, we came into this area of resistance that was the highs, and we put in a flag, we break out, we get that final push. When that final push happens, I want to be in a position on any flag break. And we can see here, this is exactly the sort of trade I like to see. I adjusted my target here because there was a little low that we came into. And you can see here that when I time these kind of trades correctly, the move happens very, very quickly. So immediately reducing my stops because we came into the lows. And I'll just jump forward a couple of minutes because it does hold for a bit. But we end up selling off. I was going to split my position into two here, take half off at the target I should have been in because I got in this one a tiny bit late, and then hold a little bit for longer. We end up taking that out, and then on this bounce I decided to take the whole lot off. So it was a good trade. Again, I will bring up the chart, and you can see here, nice little flag at the area of resistance. So we've got a reason to be a seller up here. We have our flag, we break that flag. When that flag breaks down, short, and it sells off. And again, this I could have held a piece maybe all the way to the lows. And it's something I've experimented in the past. I don't like trying to hold a piece for longer because it it makes me feel quite greedy on some trades. But that's where I'm at. And overall, it was an okay day. If I could have avoided the trades in this area, it would have been a really good day. But I'll take it. A small green day to start this little journey, and hopefully more to come.